Alright, yo, here I have this 3-shelf service cart. I just picked this up from Harbor Freight the other day, and now we're gonna get ready to go ahead and assemble this. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, yo, so this is what I have straight out the box. Looks like we have our swivel casters. I believe these are gonna be our posts. And we have our 3 shelves. Looks like we're gonna have our bolts and some of the mounting corners. Alright, yo, so this is everything that comes out the box of our 3-shelf steel service cart from US General. Now let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so now that you got your bottom shelf, you can go ahead and install your post. You're going to want to go ahead and get these. It doesn't matter what direction you put these, whether you have them up or down, it doesn't really matter. As long as you got them, they should be fine either way. You're going to want to use a screw, nut, and a washer. With that screw, I usually like to put it in beforehand to kind of guide it in. I'm going to go with the bottom one first. Make it easier in alignment. Alright, now that I got that one in, I'll go ahead and grab my washer. Go ahead and grab my washer, get that on there, and then I'll tighten up this nut. Y'all want to just do this thing. Alright, so now that we got that starter one on, go ahead and put on the rest. Alright, so now that you have all that connected, you can go ahead and get this middle tray set up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that now. And just so I can kind of attempt to make it easier for myself, I'm going to zip tie it into place if it was screwed in. Alright, so y'all, so this is kind of what I was referring to. As I said, I was going to go ahead and just zip tie it quickly for me so I can get it in place and make it a lot easier for me to assemble since it's just me. It's going to be the same procedure. You just want to follow that bolt, washer, and nut method. And from there, you'll go ahead and get it assembled. Another thing you can do if you are not using zip ties, or if you prefer not to use them, you can also go ahead and just turn it on its side. Alright, so I got this middle shelf assembled. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just do the same process as I did before. I'll go ahead and grab these zip ties and put them through just to kind of line it up and make it easier for me. Alright guys, so in this process, all I was essentially doing is putting the zip tie in place of the nut and bolt to allow me to alleviate the stress on my hands and have the zip ties do the holding work for me. It makes this process a lot simpler when it's just you. It is not as necessary when you're approaching the top shelf portion, but during the process of the middle shelf when the posts are not as stable, it makes it a whole lot easier because you don't really have to do any holding work. So what I'm installing now are the handlebar mounts. You're going to want to refrain from putting the nut and bolts on one end, the short end specifically, so that way you're able to install these handlebar mounts. And then after you get these mounts put on, you are able to go ahead and screw in the nut and bolts. But you don't want to go ahead and just tighten everything up right away before you get the handlebar mount on. And make sure you do one side first, then put the bar in, because if you do both sides, tighten them up, you're not going to be able to put the handlebar in. So you're going to want to go ahead and do one side, then install the handlebar, and then do the second side.